All right, Forged in Idaho with Simon Cummings. Thanks for joining us, Simon.
Yeah, of course.
So the idea with Forged in Idaho is I just show up with my guys working, and I just talk to them. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you, and what all are you good at?
Yeah, so my name is Simon Cummings. I'm originally from Leavenworth, Washington area, Central Washington. Moved over here around 2 years ago, and pretty much since then I've been working for Forged. I started out mostly painting, and have delved a bit into trim carpentry and pretty much a little bit of everything at this
You
point.
are one of my most versatile guys, for sure. Yeah, I've asked a lot of you. You're a wily dude. What all are you good at besides paint, trim?
We're talking hobbies.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at Rubik's cubing. I'm a pretty big video gamer. Grew up playing baseball, so probably a little bit of that too.
What brought you here?
Friends. I met most of my roommates through playing video games. Funnily enough, and a couple of my friends from the Leavenworth area ended up moving out here to Moscow like a few years before I did. So I just felt it was the place to be. Felt called here, so ended up moving over.
You wanted more community than just found in the video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk to me about what about Forged. You started with us. You started kind of a low end position, and you've really grown into having some really decent skill sets that we've really appreciated. What is it that has grown in you as far as working with a team and crafting into a craftsman?
Yeah. Well, it's super cool to see how it gets done. The whole process, and being involved in most of the steps there is a big part of that. I've also found a lot of value in learning as much as I can. Like any bit of any trade that I can learn, I figure I will probably be able to use in the future if I want to build my own house someday, or just future endeavors. So that's been a big part of it, and learning to work with a team. I guess I haven't had any jobs before this where I'm working with a crew this big and all the moving parts and all that. So that's been some good experience too.
Yeah. What about the notion of just figuring it out, right? So you mentioned being a Rubik's Cube guy. That's a pretty amazing skill set. It requires an algorithm and a brain. And when it comes to craftsmanship and building things, how does that apply? Like, what does that look like in your head?
I guess to apply the metaphor there, with the Rubik's Cube, there are a bunch of little steps, and you need to memorize algorithms for each specific scenario in each of those steps. I guess construction is the same sort of way. With each trade, when they come in, they have a slightly different scenario than they had on the last house, and applying their skill set and knowledge to that scenario is pretty similar to a Rubik's Cube, now that you mention it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I brought one, and this is just off of a desk at the office, and I'm just going to make this thing just miserable for you. I don't even know how. I'm so bad at Rubik's Cubes. Okay. All right. Here we go. Show all the sides. See what you got.
Alrighty. I'm going to inspect it for a sec.
This never gets old.
And there it is.
Oh, man. Well done, Simon. So, the fun thing about talking about this is I've really forced you guys at every level to fill out good daily logs, right?
Mhm.
So here's what I did today. Here's some pictures. And then one of the things that I've really tried to maintain with you guys is tell me what needs to happen next.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things that I really love about your value is you've got the kind of mind that can predict what happens next. And it's true. Building a house is a very simple algorithm, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you can get online and purchase the algorithm, and it's,
Right.
I don't remember, 267 steps to building your house, right? And that's pretty true.
Mhm.
You do them all in the right order, it gets done. Really, what separates us out is building it joyfully for the glory of God,
Mhm.
because anybody can do the algorithm.
Yeah.
Talk about your interaction with us as a team that builds joyfully for the glory of God.
Yeah. That's something I really respect about this company. I I feel very blessed to work with a group of guys that are all Christians and strong believers and doing it for the glory of God. I feel that it makes for a tight knit group of guys, and I think that having that motivation gives us something that most other people don't.
And, as a younger guy, kind of coming in near the bottom, just getting started in the trades, you're such an interesting guy to talk to because we have tons of young men out there and young women who are interested in the question of what do I do?
Hmm.
I'm graduating. Do I go to college? Do I go just start working? Do you have any feedback for them?
That's a hard one. I myself went to college for a year and a half, and it just didn't end up being something I was interested in for the long term. And yeah, just give things a crack. If it doesn't work out, doesn't end up being something you like, I guess just move on to something else. You'll find what you love eventually.
Right. Yeah, and stop overthinking it, right?
Hmm.
Like you don't know what you like doing until you get into it. You started
Exactly.
as
Yeah.
a painter, and then after a while, as a painter, you came to me
Hmm.
and you had a proposal. Like, talk about that. You wanted to move out of painting
Hmm.
and into something else.
Yeah. So that was I'd done a couple trim carpentry jobs, just like here and there, and it had just clicked with me. That is what I found that I really enjoyed doing, and that's what I wanted to keep doing. So,
What was it? What was the motivation?
uh, painting was good. Like I could do it, and I was getting decent at it, but I don't know. I just didn't like it as much. And I liked making measurements, cutting, and the piece fitting perfectly. I find that very satisfying. And paint has some of that, but in a different way, and I just don't like it as much,
Right.
personally.
Yeah. And figuring out what you can really cause yourself to be fascinated by is a really important
Hmm.
piece for a young adult to go through, right? Like it's just it you have to kind of grind for a while. And number one, do things you don't like doing.
Yeah.
I mean, right now you're picking up.
Yeah.
Thank you for picking up. You're
Hmm.
you're the only guy left here today, and it's your lot in life for a minute.
Someone's
And
got
I
to do it. I'll
appreciate
get it done.
appreciate the willingness. Talk about that as far as like a finished project, ownership of your position. Do you have any sort of advice for young people?
Yeah. Um, I guess if you're assigned something, you should take responsibility for that and give it your all in that. And that includes making sure that nothing gets missed, that it all looks done when you're good when you're done with it. And yeah, just making sure it's a good finished project.
And then connecting that with the piece you already talked about of learning about the positions above you,
Hmm.
what's coming next after you, right?
Right. Yeah.
Learning to
Preparing.
dwell in the importance of what you're actually doing.
Hmm. Yeah. Everything that can help the next guy out is also important. Thinking ahead to the next step and making sure that that's ready to go.
Right. Okay, so what's in the future for you, right? You've done paint, you've done finished carpentry, you've got tile. we've done a bunch of little things. Where do you want to go next? What do you want to explore as far as craftsmanship?
I'd like to do some more framing, actually. I helped a little bit here, but not terribly much, and that is one of the bigger carpentry trades that I haven't had a crack at quite yet. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, now we know. We'll keep going at it. Keep adding the carpentry skills to you.
yeah,
Yeah, I really appreciate you talking to me. I really appreciate your story. I really appreciate you just being an example for young guys who are looking in the trades. There's a bunch of them. So many people are thinking, "Gosh, really don't know if college is the way for me. It seems really expensive, and I could go work right now and
yeah,
make a lot of money." And so, yeah, we'll continue to be some wind beneath your wings. And thanks for joining up with us.
yeah. Thank you, Brad.